son, Dan Eastman. I'd like to share with you a story about being a dummy and with temperatures like that dropping well into the negative digits, there's no question like the relentlessness of the New York, the upstate New York winter. Some of you might even have been there. I was in 2008. There was no difference between any other winter. It was 15-foot snowbanks, negative 30 degrees. I found myself 21 years old, living half out of my rickety 99 Ford Escort and half sleeping on a cot in my friend's heatless studio apartment. This was the result of two things. Living at home, living at home with my dad, like most people, couldn't agree on anything. He was all, Dan, for God's sakes, get a real job or get out of my house. And I was like, I got a real job, Dad. I work at the sub shops up there. And that could have just been it, but I did my fair share of drinking and driving, like you do at 21. And the second thing, one night I decided it'd be a good idea to drink an entire bottle of Yukon Jack Canadian whiskey, 100 proof, thank you, and drive my 99 Ford Escort into his and my mom's white picket fence, and several inches from their house. And I think that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. After that, my dad was pretty much just like, Dan, get the fuck out of my house. And if he had just said, like, look, don't go drinking and driving, don't crash your car into any picket fences, you can stay and work that sub job all you want, everything would have been A-okay, but that's not how lessons are learned. So I end up sleeping on this cot, which is not comfortable, but it's a slight step up from the back seat of a Ford Escort filled with clothes and things. DVDs and TVs don't make good pillows. So I still, sometimes I would drink a lot of whiskey either to warm my body up or dumb it down to forget how cold it was. So one night driving across town, and when I say drinking whiskey, I don't mean Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. That's child's play, ladies. I mean, I'm talking about fucking wild turkey and old granddad, like business. If I want to class the Escort up, maybe I'd spring for some Knob Creek, but that's a rarity. I'm poor, I live in a car. So, one night, the inevitable happens. I'm driving across town, and I see the flashing red and blue lights behind me, and I do the first thing that comes to my mind. If I'm going away, this thing's going clean. I pull into a car wash, and so I pull into the car wash, and I don't make it to the car wash. I kind of just stop diagonally in the parking lot, and the officer comes up, taps on the window with the back of his flashlight, and then begins pointing it in my face, and he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I know better. I don't admit fault unless I know I'm busted. So, no. Why, officer? In so many words I said that. There were a lot more no's and sputterings. So, I said, no, why? And he goes, we'll get to that. And I just start rummaging through my pockets, like, how am I going to get the fuck out of this? And I try to hand him my ID. He's like, I don't want that yet. Just step out of the car. I'm like, no, just take it. I want so bad for him to take my ID that I just throw it into the snow at him. And the ID, somehow does a frisbee effect and, just goes over his shoulder, almost hits him, and he opens the door himself, and I'm like, no, I'll step out. And I obliged him via roll and stumble, and he's like, you got any knee injuries? And I'm like, I played a little bit of basketball in school. But at this, I start breaking down. I'm like, I'm out of the car. The next step is handcuffs. I know what's happening. So I just start no, I'm just going like 2 blocks that way. Just let me drive. Like, you can follow me. Like, I'm drunk and you know it. Let's just like, you follow me if I make a mistake. And he's like, we got some paperwork to fill out. Why don't you hold up? Why don't you sit on the bumper there? I'm like, I can say my alphabet backwards. Listen to me, Z-Y-X-W. I practice. And but he goes, we don't do that anymore. We make you say them forward. And I'm like, oh. So we finally, he gets my name, takes everything off the ID that he had picked up, and his partner had gotten out of the car and starts breathalyzing me. And he goes, now he does the follow the pen thing, and I apparently failed it, but I thought I did pretty good. And he goes, all right, say your alphabet forward, and I was just like, A, B, D, fuck it, let's go to jail. And I flamed out 3 letters into the alphabet, and his partner, after breathalyzing me, waiting for the final total, he begins searching my car. He goes, you got any weapons in here, anything that's going to prick me, anything like that? I don't want to get hurt searching your car. And I go, no, not that I know of, just stuff. It's my house. And he immediately like reaches into my driver's side compartment. He goes, oh, what's this? And he pulls out a 6-inch Smith & Wesson dagger. The thing was fucking sweet. But one of my military friends must have left it in there. It wasn't me. And so the breathalyzer finished up. I was in the backseat of the car, and I couldn't help it. I had to ask, like, well, what did I get? And 0.23. Not bragging or anything, people, but it's pretty fucking, like, if I wasn't driving, it'd be pretty impressive. Like, drinking and driving is bad, you don't do that. So the final score was what they call an aggravated they call it DWI if they're driving while intoxicated, as opposed to DUI, driving under the influence. It's the same thing, really. But if they call it aggravated, they put that word in there every time you blow over a .18. And I had a 3rd-degree possession of a weapons charge for the illegal blade that I swear wasn't mine. And also, so final score, cops 2, Dan 0. I go to jail. I do the few hours there and stumble out on my own recognizance. And I think it's true what they say, like, you do need to go through life, make your own mistakes and learn your lessons. And young kids really do feel like they're very invincible, and they try and live like right in that moment. They don't think about what could happen in the future. Like, I could have like hurt somebody, splattered brains all over the road, and mine too. At that point, there'd be no defense for me. I probably would have deserved it. And but I was 21 then, 25 now. 20. Crazy to think about it like that. But like, there's a lot to learn. And I just want to say, like, you know, don't do that. And that was my lesson. And now that I've realized the destructive nature of that, I'm done. So thank you. That's my story. I'm Dan Eastman, and bring out Hillary. Thank you.